Hi everybody, welcome back. Mark Whitaker, Certified Financial Planner with Retirement Advice. And in today's video, we're going to talk about health insurance for early retirees. If you retire before age 65, you're probably wondering, what are my health insurance or healthcare options? Do I need to buy a plan through healthcare.gov, through the healthcare exchange? Can I apply for something through my employer? Am I still eligible for coverage through my employer? So in today's video, we're going to walk through a flowchart to help you understand your options when it comes to health insurance for an early retiree. And in today's example, we're going to do this through the lens of an example client. Her name is Jill. Now, Jill is 62 years old. She's single, and she wants to retire basically now. One of the things about her situation is she's been told that she can purchase or continue to have her employer coverage through something called a COBRA plan. And so she's wondering, is that a better option than buying a policy through healthcare.gov and the Affordable Care Act, or what are my options? So we're going to walk through this flowchart and see what Jill has available to her. So coming over to the screen here, number one, is Jill eligible for Medicare? Well, she's 62, so the answer is no. So the next is she eligible for health insurance from her employer after she retires? And in her case, we talked about COBRA coverage. So there's typically two types of insurance benefits that you could get from a former employer after you leave service, after you retire. Some, if you've worked for a company for a really long time, it's possible that you have some type of health insurance benefit available to you as a retiree. Now, I'm going to say that this is probably not the case. This is not that common, at least here in the U.S. What is more common is that you can continue to have your employer health care coverage through something called a COBRA plan, which is essentially your ability to maintain your coverage that you currently have with your employer, but now the whole cost of it is going to change. Right now, as you're working, the company you work for is likely paying for most of that plan cost. So if you continue on with it in retirement through COBRA, the cost is going to go up quite a bit. So let's walk through the flowchart. So Jill does not work for a company that provides a retirement healthcare benefit. So for her, the answer is no. Next question, is she married and eligible through health insurance from her spouse's healthcare coverage? And the answer is no, she's not married. So we'll follow this up here, and we'll see, does her former employer or spouse's employer have 20 or more employees or offer COBRA coverage? And the answer is yes, she can buy COBRA coverage through her employer. Now, if your employer offers, if you work for a company and they have a group health insurance plan, probably offer COBRA coverage. And so really at this point, what I would be asking myself is it, do you want to try and find a health insurance plan that's more affordable, or is convenience the most important thing and you really don't care about the cost of healthcare coverage? If you don't care about the cost of your health insurance, then and convenience is maybe the most important thing to you, then probably it's worth, at least in the beginning of your early retirement, to just look at staying on COBRA or just having health insurance through COBRA. In Jill's situation, she's 62, so she's not disabled, so the longest she'd be able to stay on COBRA healthcare or health insurance would be for 18 months. So that's not going to get her all the way till age 65 when she'd be able to go onto Medicare. But let's say that you were retiring before age 65 and you're 64 in a few months and you're going to turn 65 in a few months. In that case, it might be worth it to just take COBRA coverage, even though you're paying a little bit more for it than maybe something you could get through healthcare.gov, but just for convenience factor, you don't want to have to switch policies twice. So with Jill, she's 62, and she is concerned about the cost of healthcare, and so we're going to come and flow all the way over to here, and this is really a really good explanation. So COBRA coverage may be expensive. You may have to pay full insurance premiums plus a 2% fee. However, there may be subsidies available. So this is what's important to know. When you're working for an employer and have healthcare, like I said, they're probably covering part of the cost of that health insurance plan. Well, let's say that your health insurance policy that you have through work, the full cost of it is, $1,500 a month. Well, you may be only paying, let's say you're paying $150 a month. Your company's covering 90% of that policy. Well, when you go onto COBRA coverage, they have the ability to charge you up to 102% of what that plan costs. So not 102% of what you were paying, but 102% of what the policy actually costs. So you could go from paying, in our little example here, $150 a month all the way to $1,500 plus an extra 2%. And without doing the math there on that, I think that's an extra maybe $30. I don't know. But so you'd be paying $1,530 a month for that same health insurance plan. So now your company may continue to subsidize that plan, but probably not the case. But if they do, that would be awesome. So now let's say that they don't. So Jill, she's going to say, okay, now I'm going to go look at plans through healthcare.gov. Some important things to know with insurance through the Affordable Care Act. You don't have to worry about pre-existing conditions, and she's not going to have to wait until like normal open enrollment time for health insurance. Because she's separating from service, it's a qualifying event, she can go ahead and apply, go to healthcare.gov and look at the plans available to her and get signed up for something so that she doesn't have a lapse in healthcare coverage. Now, with the Affordable Care Act, the big planning opportunity is to see whether or not you can qualify for health insurance subsidies. I have some other videos here on my channel where I talk about that in depth about how to qualify for those. So I won't go into that in this video, but that can have a powerful impact on reducing the cost that you end up paying for health insurance while you're trying to bridge the gap for an early retirement until you're age 65 and you can get onto Medicare. So hopefully that's helpful, and maybe we can look at a few more examples. If you have questions or any comments or feedback, go ahead and leave me a comment, and we could make some videos about other topics you might be interested in. So until next time, take it easy.